Hello and welcome to all the viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Medican Michael. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nicomsat. President Bola Tinubu has urged all stakeholders in the those state governorship elections to respect the will of the people and the ability to choose their leaders. Tinubu gave the charge in a statement by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ananuga. President Tinubu urges the governorship candidates and political parties and supporters to respect the democratic process and the people's will, while calling on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and security agencies to be impartial in their conduct. President Tinubu said all the parties must endeavor to conduct themselves peacefully and sportingly. Also, President Bola Tinubu has received a report on the recommendations of the Committee on Livestock Reform Implementation in Nigeria. The report was presented to Tinubu at the State House in Abuja by the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reform, Professor Atiru Piga. Kikalumakari has the details.
Speaking to State House correspondents shortly after the meeting with the President, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Livestock Reform, Professor Ataru Jega, says the committee was able to identify measures on how Nigerian government can judiciously utilize livestock industry in Nigeria. A review that 152-page document submitted to President Tinubu recommends measures that the government can use to mitigate the farmers-herders clashes across the country. He noted that both ranching and open grazing can coexist in short term until there is enough awareness and adequate infrastructure that will enhance the adoption of full ranching.
We have been able now to produce what we call an inception report, which contains very wide-ranging recommendations as to how our country can tap the potentials of the livestock sector in terms of opening up the value chain in this sector and ensuring that by so doing, we develop all sectors in the value chains to enhance economic growth and development, create jobs, and also ensure that we are not only able to bring about food, feed, and nutrition security, but we are also able to significantly begin to export.
The report of the committee is expected to be made public very soon with a view to getting more input from the public. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Our President Bola Tinubu will not attend the 79th United Nations General Assembly session in New York this year. Rather, Vice President Kashim Shettima will lead Nigeria's delegation to the annual summit next week. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ananuga, said the President has therefore directed Vice President Shettima to lead Nigeria's delegation. According to the release, President Tinubu will return to the country last Sunday after his trip to China and the United Kingdom, wants to focus on domestic issues and address some of the country's challenges, especially after the recent devastating flooding. The Court of Appeal Abuja Division has approved the proposal by the federal government to settle out of court with a former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onnoghen, who is challenging his premature removal from office in 2019. The three-man appellate court, the panel led by Justice Joseph Oyewole, also gave the parties November 19, 2024 to return to the court with their settlement terms for the possible abduction as the judgment of the court in the dispute. At the resumed hearing, Onnoghen's lawyer Dr. Ogu Onoya informed the three-member panel of justice that the two parties were already in discussions about the peaceful resolution of the dispute. And our Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Minor, has assured that his administration will sustain the ongoing distribution of food palliative across the 31 local government area of the state to cushion the prevailing socio-economic challenges facing the people. The general manager of the State Bulk Purchase Agency, Uyimetum, represented the governor at the palliative disbursement to 5,000 vulnerable persons in 11 wards across 51 villages in Suratai local government area, urged their beneficiaries to maintain peace as government was doing its utmost to salvage their situation. Addressing the beneficiaries at Odut, the headquarters of Suratai Council, the governor observed that the distribution process was smooth, devoid of stampede and violence. Borno State government has realized over 12 billion naira in cash and materials donation for victims of the Alio Dam flood disaster in Maduguri. A senior special advisor on new media to Borno government, to the governor of Bundi, gave the update on donations on behalf of Maduguri Relief Fund in Maduguri. Bundi said the donation came from corporate entities, state government, state and national assembly members, individuals and non-governmental organizations. Following Nigerian Meteorological Agency's NIMET's predictions regarding impending flooding in Kebbi State, the National Emergency Management Agency has urged the state government to enforce the resettlement of communities in flood-prone areas. Dr. Daniel Obot, NEMA Zonal Director, stressed the need for comprehensive safety plans to protect lives and property. He called for collaboration with local government authorities and stakeholders as well as the community sensitization on necessary precautions. Obot observed the high water levels in rivers across the state and stressed the importance of relocating residents from affected areas. The Deputy President of the Senate, Senator Barrow Jibril, has commended President Bola Tinubu for converting the Federal Colleges of Education in Kano and Zaria to Federal Universities of Education. President Tinubu has approved the conversion of the two to the Federal Universities of Education to enhance the country's education system in line with the Renewed Hope agenda. The Federal Ministry of Education had issued memos communicating the approval to the two institutions. Senator Barrow, in a statement by Special Advisor of Media and Publicity Ismaila Al-Mudashid, said the convention will not only increase access to university education but also enhance teachers' education and teaching provision in the country. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pathe, says his ministry is working closely with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and other partners to address the section of the law that criminalizes attempted suicide. A statement from the ministry said the ministers made their disclosure during the commemoration of the 2024 World Suicide Prevention Day in Abuja. He said the ministry was also working towards improving the mental health and well-being of Nigerians, ensuring that Nigeria will soon join the Committee of Nations that have decriminalized attempted suicide. You're watching the news cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When the cycle returns, Shettima seeks regulatory alignment for improved business environment. Details of these and more after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us on News Cycle. And now to business. Vice President Kashim Shettima has called for the alignment of Nigeria's regulatory practices with global standards to enhance the country's business environment. This is according to a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Enabling Business Environment Council and Investment, Dr. Jumaka Adowale. Speaking at the inaugural Regulators Forum of the OPEC at the Presidential Villa, Shettima emphasized the importance of transparency, trust and efficiency among regulatory bodies. The National Pension Commission has generated 20.87 trillion naira under the contributory pension scheme in the third quarter of 2024. The Director General National Pension Commission, Omala, made this known while addressing journalists on pension reform. Kiko Lebakere has the rest of the details.
Pension Reform Act aims to address inefficiency in the pension system, necessitating a holistic overhaul. The Director General National Pension Commission, Omolola Oloworaran, was represented by the Head Corporate Communications National Pension Commission, Ibrahim Bouayi, laments that 20 years after Pension Reform Act, low pension contribution still poses a challenge to the system. It therefore stressed the need for more stakeholders' engagement, including the media, to enlighten the public on the pension scheme and its futures.
Over 300,000 retirees that continue to receive retirement benefits regularly as and when due. This period, as the implementation has gone on, PENCOM has continues to introduce, innovations that would further, strengthen and smoothen the implementation of the scheme.
The Executive Secretary, Pension Fund Operators Association of Nigeria, Uguchi Aguda, explained that the Pension Reform Act has contributed over 11 trillion naira pension scheme, ensuring safety and growth.
The public sector has been strong in terms of contributing to the pension scheme, and they've contributed about 5.7 trillion naira over the last 17 years, while the private sector employers have contributed about 5.3 trillion naira. Those are huge sums of money, and that was brought about by the Act. And also that money has been kept safe by the activities of the pension operators. So that has been a plus for the industry, because safety first. The pension funds have ensured that that money is safe.
The Executive Secretary, Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, Chioma Ejikeme, who was represented by the Head Corporate Communication, Olugbenga Ajayi, advocates for the welfare of veterans and pensioners through verified AMA-Life confirmation.
Initiated by the federal government, in collaboration with other sister agencies, will be delivered onto our pensioners.
The theme of the conference, focusing on the 20-year journey of pension reform in Nigeria, highlights the paradigm shift in the pension system, emphasizing the participation of both employers and employees. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News. Pension.
Domestic crude oil refiners and officials of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery have kicked against the commencement of the importation of premium motor spirit, probably called petrol, by major oil marketers in Nigeria. Oil refiners allege that some imported fuels were of low quality when compared with the ones produced by the Dangote Refinery, a position that was reiterated by officials of the $20 billion Lekki Base plant. It was reported that 3 major oil marketers were expecting vessels of imported petrol this week, barring any unforeseen circumstances. United Kingdom state debt is equivalent to the country's annual output, data showing as the new government warns of tough issues of the tax are spending ahead of its maiden budget. The Office for National Statistics says in a statement that public sector net debt was provisionally estimated at 100% of the gross domestic product at the end of August. Prime Minister Keir Starmer has warned Britons that the budget announcement on October 30 will be painful, with tax rises and spending cuts expected. And after reform-seeing Democratic candidate Kamala Harris holds a star-studded rally hosted by talk show legend Oprah Winfrey on Thursday in a bid to dazzle voters as rival Donald Trump criticized Jewish Americans for not voting for him. On the pair hugged as Harris arrived on stage at the rally in Michigan, one of the 7 crucial battleground states that will decide the knife-edge November 5th election. Harris urged Americans to unite against the powerful forces that will try to divide them, represented by the Republican former President Trump. And now Israel has carried out extensive air strikes on southern Lebanon, targeting positions of the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah. The military says its warplanes struck more than 100 rocket launchers as well as a weapons depot. This comes as Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant says, "We are the start of a new phase of the war." Now, in a significant statement reinforcing Saudi Arabia's long-standing stance on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has declared that the kingdom will not establish diplomatic relations with Israel until an independent Palestinian state with East Jerusalem as its capital is realized. The statement was delivered during the inauguration of the 9th session of the Shura Council on behalf of the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz also. He reiterated Saudi Arabia's firm rejection and strong condemnation of the Israeli occupation authorities' crimes against the Palestinian people. Now, Ukrainian leader Zelensky says he hopes United States President Joe Biden will support his plan to end the war with Russia ahead of the trip to Washington. Zelensky has promised to present his so-called victory plan to end the fight, which has killed thousands, to Biden in the coming days. Now, India has dismissed a news report claiming the government failed to prevent European buyers from transferring Indian-made artillery shells to Ukraine. In a story published, Reuters alleged that artillery shells sold by the Indian arm makers have been diverted by European customers to Ukraine. The report alleged that the transfer of ammunition has been ongoing for more than a year, with the Hill taking no action to stop it despite repeated protests from Moscow. On sports, about 120 universities in Nigeria and 36 others from Africa have started arriving in Lagos for the 11th All-Africa University Games, which is co-hosted by the University of Lagos and Lagos State University from Friday, September 20 to September 29. The opening ceremony of the event will be held at the Unilag Sports Complex on Saturday as the competition returns to Nigeria for the first time in 20 years. Our Unilag Vice Chancellor Professor Falasin Ogunsola says the Games will again project Nigeria's cultural heritage among the community of African universities. Our more sports players in the Nigeria Premier Football League say they are looking forward to being invited to the Super Eagles be head of the African Nations Championship qualifiers, which began last month. The Confederation of African Football announced a new date for the 2024 tournament fixing February 1st to 2025 for the championship meant for African footballers based in the countries. Ayimbo forward Joseph Atulis also said the announcement has fueled his desire to keep working hard to fulfill his dream of playing for Nigeria. As we wrap up the very news cycle, the top look at the stories that Tinubu asks politicians to respect the will of voters, and Shettima to lead Nigeria's delegation to 79th UN General Assembly, and more other details. Many thanks for staying with us on News Cycle. You can follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles that shown on the screen. I'm Many thanks for watching and stay with us on News Cycle. See you again.